goodness, I've been standing this whole time, didn't realize it.
After starting using the technology for approximately 2 weeks, my pain completely disappeared.
32 years of pain gone in 3 days.
I just love the products. They just help me to feel younger and younger year after year.
Thank God for X39.
My skin become younger, softer, firmer.
It's been really, really, really amazing.
I love X39 because it really helped reduce the inflammation in my knee. I can now run again. Woohoo!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday evening Testimonial Tuesdays. I'm your host, Robin Blank Mascari, or Robin Blanc Mascari, either one are correct, and we get together every Tuesday night to hear your stories first. Then we bring on our special practitioner. This evening we have our beloved Anne Moreau, and then there's time for you to ask some questions. So we're going to start out the call with your stories, and remember, the best stories are brief. They're compliant. They don't name any dis-ease, just symptoms. What were the limitations before? Which patch you used, and now what you can do, and then be done. So a minute or less, then we have room for lots of other people. And then when you're ready to share your story, you want to raise your hand. And as we've heard many, many times, stories are the lifeblood of our business, because when you share your story, it inspires other people to think about people they want to share with. And that's how things work around here. And that's how come this company has grown so fast, because of all of you. So we'll start out with stories. And I'd like you to raise your hands when you're ready to share. And we will go through the stories. Let's see, I don't see any hands yet, but you guys know what happens when I don't have hands. I call on our leaders, and then we have an iPhone guest who is ready to share. And so you want to unmute and then Roger, you're next. So you want to unmute your line, and everyone else keep your lines muted. And I'm sorry about my lighting. Hold on, it just went off. Okay, well, my computer is going off, so I get to be in the dark a little bit. Sorry about that. I had it on and it just went off. Okay, so let's start out with the iPhone guest.
Hi, this is Deborah Hawkins.
Hi, Deborah.
Hi, I just want to talk about X39, how when I found out about it and got on it, I was like so desperate. I had no energy. I had no desire to have energy. I was very stiff. I was starting to lose my short-term memory. I was just feeling like age was coming, and it was coming hard and fast.
Oh, no.
And so I started using the patches, and I noticed in 3 days I was lacing up my shoes and going for a walk all by myself with no motivation. And I started joining exercise classes and just really getting out there. And then I started taking a course that took there was a lot of anatomy, and I just said, I can't do this, but the patches got me through.
All right. Isn't it amazing? Energy is, we need it for everything, And when you don't have it, boy, do you miss it, and it changes your life. Well, thank you so much for sharing. That was wonderful. Okay, Roger, I think you are next.
Can you hear me?
We can't see you, but I can hear you.
You have to look twice because I'm sitting in the dark, but
Oh, you're sitting in the dark. Oh, okay.
I'm driving, so yeah, I just want to say healing
this is perfect for Halloween.
Just want to say healing is amazing. I'm using X39 on a daily basis, and I wrecked my finger last week, and that not even took a week to heal. So that's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Isn't it wonderful to know we can heal really fast? And for those of you that are brand new this evening, a special welcome. We invite everyone to research the copper peptide, which is the magic behind X39. And I'll put in the chat the copper pep.
I can do that for you,
Oh,
Robin.
thank you. Thank you, Ravel. Thank you. Copperpeptidebreakthrough.com. And that's where you're going to learn about why we heal so fast. Okay, Christina, I see that you are next.
Well, good evening, everybody. I don't know why my video is not on, but anyhow, I'm a brand partner and one of my customers is using X39. She had a sexually transmitted aspect. I won't use the word. And she normally used lysine to suppress it. But when she started X39, she completely went off of everything else just to test out the product. And 7 weeks in, she had an occurrence and it went away in less than 24 hours.
Love it. Here we go.
I don't know if it was retracing or what it was for her, but the story will be continued. But normally that's, you know, she'd have it for an extended period of time, even with using the lysine.
Wow. Well, keep us posted, Christina. Okay. We'd like to hear how things continue in time.
Sounds
Wonderful.
great.
Thank you so much for sharing. That was beautiful. And you stayed very compliant. Good job. Good job. Okay, John, you are next.
Yeah. Hi, Robin. Hi, everybody. I guess my video is a little bit funky today, but I just wanted to say that the X39 and what David Schmidt has said, it's definitely, I can feel the 11-month user now. It has reversed, not only paused my aging process, but there's a lot of things that has shown to actually reverse it. And except today I had a setback. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's because of Halloween or something, but I feel like I aged. So anyways, I don't know what happened to me, but I got older.
I don't know what happened either, but boy, you need, I think I can recommend a few patches for you.
But yeah, I got older. I don't know what happened, but the reverse was working for the last 11 months. But anyways, I want to tell a story of my friend. Sorry about that.
Okay. No, that was wonderful. I love it.
I want to tell the story of my friend. I played golf with him yesterday. Golf with him yesterday, and he has been using the patch for about 5 months now. And he has, for the last, he plays 3 days a week, and he walks now every day. And every time he plays golf, and he says, I can't believe the energy that I've got now since I've been on the patches, X39, and then the X49. He's going to start wearing that again too.
I love it,
and it's been amazing. And his girlfriend, who 5 years, she has not gotten any good sleep for 5 years. She's wearing the Silent Night and the X39, and she has had the best sleep she's ever had, since they've been known to be together. And one more thing that has happened to him, for their relationship, he said, my blood flow has increased.
We hear all kinds of stories like that. Well, thank you. And tell us, John, what's happened to your golf game since using X39?
It's gotten stronger. I've added yards to my game. I've gotten to the point where after 18 holes, I want to play more. I want to play more because I'm hitting some good shots that I never hit before, where I've got a little bit more strength in my swing. I work on my swing every day. Beautiful. And it's just all the pieces are fitting into place. It's a process.
Okay, so if any of you know golfers will do anything, won't they, John? Anything to improve their game. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. So thank you so much. And I love hearing your shares. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Okay, I think Lavelle, you are next.
Hey, Robin. Hey, how are you?
Always a treat to see you.
And you too. You and Greg are phenomenal. So I'm not gonna tell my story because I told it last week. I'm gonna tell you about a friend of ours. Her and her husband were both ministers in our church. And what happened is she had frozen shoulder. She used all kinds of lotions, potions, and all this kind of stuff for 2 years, and spent a lot of money, thousands of dollars, and nothing would release her shoulder. So she took about a month to do her due diligence on the X39. She got it. She called me. She said, "Okay, Lavelle, I'm gonna put the X39 on the back of my neck." And she said in about a half an hour, it felt like someone blew on the back of her neck. And she turned around, thought it was one of her girlfriends in the office, was blowing on the back of her neck. And she was like, there was nobody there. She was like, and then she realized she was able to turn her neck after
Oh my
2
gosh.
years in a half an hour. But then it gets better.
Whoa.
And then it gets better. So her husband had lost the mobility of movement in the whole left side of his body. So she went home at night at 10 o'clock and put the X39 on the back of his neck. And the next morning, when they woke up, he was touching her. And she said, "Are you trying to be fresh?" After 2 years, he said, "Honey, I can feel your body." His feeling came back in
Oh
one
my.
night. My wife and I got a text like 8 in the morning. And when we saw that text, I'm talking about tears were in our eyes, pretty much. We got down on our knees and just started thanking God. We were just saying, like, oh my goodness, this thing is phenomenal. Thanks for letting me share, Robin.
Well, that's fabulous. Isn't it fun when we can improve the quality of life for people so safely, naturally, affordably, and more importantly, effectively? Okay. So I think CL is next. Carol, you are on.
Good morning, everyone.
Carolyn, yep. Thank
I
you.
haven't shared in a while, so I wanted to share my X39 story about my hand surgery. I ordered the patches 6 weeks before hand surgery, 14 or 15 months ago, and I'm so glad I made that decision because I skipped my entire 3rd and 4th month of physical therapy, and in 10 days after that 2.5-hour surgery, I could type, I could drive, I could write, I could floss my teeth, I could chop vegetables. This is 10 days after a big, very serious thumb joint replacement on my dominant hand, and it was the 3rd time I'd had this surgery.
Oh.
So I really got excited with my hand surgeon. He was pretty jazzed about it. And I wanted to share one other thing. I just had a female lab results that has been iffy for years come back negative for the first time in years using X39.
Oh,
So,
that's wonderful.
so many blessings.
Oh, that's and when you had your hand surgery before, how long did it take to get to the place that you are now?
Well, 4 months to a year. So
And
that's the normal time frame because I had one with my other hand also. So I'd had 4 surgeries altogether. And this one, oh, there's a goblins coming to my door. So
well, you better go get your goblins.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. That was really wonderful. And it's, accelerating healing, accelerating from any kind of procedure. It's dramatic. It's amazing. Okay, I think we have Christina.
Well, I've been answering the door tonight, so I thought
I love it. I love it. I'm sorry I ran out of time. I would have been all dressed up too. I had it ready. You're on, Christina. Yes.
I wanted to tell you guys the story about my mom. I'm always sharing stories about her because she's had so many miraculous things happen. She's been on the patches a little over 2 years now. And every time we'd go down to visit my parents, she always had this really weird cough. And I always just figured that she was sick. And she'd go, "No, it's that same cough." And I'd forget, And we noticed about a year into her wearing her patches, that cough completely went away. And it was like a cold cough, you know what I mean? Like she was sick. And she's 84.
Oh my gosh, isn't that fabulous? Again, you know, when you can touch a loved one like that, your mother, how wonderful is that? And she's 84 and she could get hope that the future is better, not worse. That's so wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing. Well, last call. Any other hands want to go up before we transition? Anyone else want to share any stories? Okay. Well, we will move on then. So we are going to step into introducing our lovely practitioner for this evening. And I'm going to switch. Let's see here. I think I'm doing all the technology tonight because Gregory's busy answering the door. So what we're going to do is introduce Anne Moreau. And Anne is a beloved leader in our community. She's been here for many years. She has a background as a nurse for 45 plus years. She's a nutritionist. She is a community builder. She is an educator. She loves teaching people that healthy food can be delicious. And she's built a beautiful, beautiful community in Maine and has a wonderful team there that are just blossoming. She's a presidential director with LifeWave. And I want to see Anne. Where are you?
I'm right here.
All right. Okay, let's see if we can figure this out together.
Me, Robin? I'm
Oh,
had me back for a sec.
Huh? What?
I had you both spotlighted, so it was working.
Okay, it was. I could see both of us.
I see both of us. I don't know what everybody else is seeing, but I see both of us.
I do
All
too.
right.
Spotlighted.
Okay, well, we'll figure this out. All right. So, dear Anne, you probably get approached with a lot of products and all kinds of this and that, because here's the latest, greatest, best thing. What was different about LifeWave? What is it that had you become really excited and interested?
Well, first off, thank you for that great introduction, Robin.
Okay, I found this on the web for it's the latest, greatest, best thing. What was different about LifeWave?
Oh, that's funny. Technology, huh?
Siri wanted to get involved here.
So what was happening to me is that I, as a nutritionist, I was also using supplements, and I was in the process of looking for something else that was really innovative, that had a lot of research. I wanted something that was not the Me Too type product, but I was looking for something that was really, that had not only some science to back it up, because that was important to me as a nurse. You know, I had to look up all the clinical studies, all that kind of stuff, but something that I knew that more was coming, that this wasn't the end, that there was a lot more being done. So that was important to me when I joined. And when I, you know, got to meet David and I got to hear everything that he is working on creating, I mean, 20 more years, right, of new stuff that he's got a huge plan for us. So it's exciting. It's exciting to be involved with a company that is, you know, moving in a direction of reversing aging. That is where we're going. So it's pretty exciting to know that that's where all of his energy, well, not all of his energy, but a good part of his energy is focused, for sure. You're muted, Robin.
All right. I didn't want Siri to be talking over me. I know that you've had some wonderful age reversal experiences with your eyes and with your blood pressure, haven't you?
I have. And it wasn't something that happened overnight. I remember starting the patches and not really noticing a whole lot. My family had noticed, and I'd seen those changes. But personally, I didn't notice it till almost 6 months later when my blood pressure started to drop. And that was kind of a goal of mine, because there's you know, blood pressure problems, both sides of the family, lots of cardiovascular issues. And so I really did not want to be on medications. My mom has been, she's got kidney failure as a result of some of those medications. So I wasn't a fan. So I was really looking for an alternative. And, you know, 6 months in, I dropped, the blood pressure dropped like 10 points. And then soon after, I added another patch called X49, which is the sister patch to X39 and known to help with cardiovascular issues. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try the combination. And 4 months later, my pressure was 114/68. And that was pretty exciting. I mean, the physician was like, I guess I won't be talking blood pressure pills with you, will I today? I said, no, I guess not. So I was pretty thrilled. And then my vision, I went in to see my eye doctor after I hadn't seen him for a couple of years. And when I saw him 2 years previously, he had said, you've got that film growing over your eyes. When it ripens, we're going to schedule you for surgery. So I go back in this year and he says, the film is gone. Your near vision has improved. Your distant vision has improved. And he showed me a picture of my eyeball and the blood vessels that feed the eye. And he said, those blood vessels, Ann, are so healthy looking. And I said, is this normal for a 71-year-old? And he said, he laughed and he said, are you kidding me? He said, most people at your age have already had surgery. He said, I'm not going to check you for another 3 years. So it's like, wow, it was exciting.
I love it. So we get to be the living examples. And you shared something really valuable. It can take time, and the benefits are actually cumulative. It gets better and better and better. And that's why we like people to get a baseline and fill out the health tracker. If you can get a blood panel with a baseline, that's good too. So when people are new to LifeWave, what do you say to them so they can get the maximum benefit from this technology, Ann?
Well, I think the first thing that I like to share with people, well, I usually will ask people if they understand the benefits of raising a particular peptide called GHK. And you already talked about that, Robin, and you referred people to that website, the Copper Peptide Breakthrough. And the benefits of that particular peptide is that you're going to activate and you're going to improve so many things and bring the body back into balance. And we heard stories about wound healing. That's one of the things that X39 does. It's amazing for wound healing, quick repair, skin improves, inflammation goes down, pain gets better. It does so many, many wonderful things. And so it's important to understand that technology is like a frequency from the sun. We get that frequency and it converts whatever's under our skin to vitamin D. And that the infrared heat of your body activates that signal in the patch. And when you activate that signal, there's a message given to the brain, and that message will activate those peptides, and then things start to really improve. So one of the most important things that we encourage people to do as they're using these patches is to wear them 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And to drink and hydrate. It's really important to stay hydrated. Drinking water is really important. Getting minerals in is very important as well. And one of the reasons for removing the patch is because the brain gets a signal from that patch. And when you're constantly giving the brain the same signal, sometimes the brain doesn't recognize it after a while. It's called attenuation. So removing that patch will allow the brain to, the next day when you reapply the patch, to really recognize that signal again. So it's really important to do the 12 hours on, 12 hours off, drink the fluid, be consistent, right? Consistency is important. I've been wearing these patches consistently for over 3 years, and the results of that have been amazing. So I really have, it's funny because you don't really feel, we have a friend and you know her. She always says, well, you don't feel those stem cells, declining, right? You don't feel yourself that happening, and we don't feel it when it's being activated either. When that copper peptide is being activated and all those changes are occurring, if you pay attention, maybe using that tracker, there's a tracker that you can get to really kind of pay attention to the small changes, because they can be little tiny changes that you're not paying attention to. I mean, I've had people say to me, oh, I didn't notice that finger wasn't bothering me anymore. Or I didn't notice that, that I was sleeping more soundly, that I had longer hours of sleep. I didn't realize it was the patch, right? We don't make the connection that it's the patch that's doing that kind of work. So
beautiful. So consistency, 12 hours on, 12 hours off, hydration, minerals, have a healthy lifestyle. It's all of these things are important. We have to do our part. So thank you so much for sharing that. So anything else you want to share before we hop into some questions?
You kind of touched on it. I mean, as you know, I'm a nutritionist. So for me, it's very important. I was actually talking to somebody last week who was telling me how bad her diet was. And she, was having issues with a lot of pain. And we patched her, she got better, but then she got worse again. And so as we were talking about what she was eating, it came to the forefront that her diet was really highly inflammatory, lots of sugar, lots of carbs, not much for protein, not much for good healthy fats. And so we do have to do our part. Exactly what you said, Robin. We have to eat for good health. And I tell people, look up anti-inflammatory foods on the web. You can find that anywhere. Right? And it will tell you what foods that are going to help your body, what foods are going to be more alkaline, because a lot of people are running around with high uric acid levels. That's what causes, the kidney stones. That's what causes gout. All those things are related to what we are ingesting. So it really is important to recognize that nutrition plays a huge role in our health. Exercise, sleep, all of that is really, really important to stay really well.
Beautiful. So food can be medicine or food can be poison. And when you were talking about anti-inflammatory foods, a lot of people don't know about the nightshade group. They think they're healthy. Potatoes, tomatoes, eggplant, peppers, they all sound really good, but they may not be the best for you.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, we have to do our part. And I love that David Schmidt is always sharing that with us. It's not just the magic patch, which it is, but it's science. We've got to do our part. Okay, let's see what kind of questions we have. Let's see. Karen says, is there a patch for someone that snores really bad?
I've heard stories of people telling me that over time that their whether it be their spouse or partner has noticed diminished snoring. And I think that when you reduce inflammation, that can play a role. So, you wear the X39 during the day, and a lot of people will use the Eon patch, at night because of its benefits of reducing stress and inflammation in the body. So that can really, be helpful. Some people will tell me that aloe vera's helped them. So there are different patches that you can try and use and see which is going to be more beneficial for you.
I love it. Or give them a poke in the ribs, huh? That's a good one. If anyone out there in the audience has noticed a difference in snoring using the patches, let us know. That would be great. Okay, Deborah, what patches do you recommend for my dad? He had an episode last Wednesday where he had no use of his right side with dropping of right side of face, had surgery, and now he has use of his right side, but he has weakness and unsteadiness on his feet and double vision. He's in rehab. What do you recommend, Anne?
Well, that's a good one because my mom went through the very same thing. And I remember when it happened to her as well, that she had a lot of the same symptoms that you're talking about. She had the vision issues as well. And what we did was we did the X39. Always start with X39. That is your foundation. It is a thing that does so many things. And I put it in the back of her neck, but I also used what we call the HAT protocol or the head protocol. And it's often used for any kind of brain injury. The HAT protocol, if you go to liveyoungerproducts.com, you'll find the HAT protocol there. And it's a baseball hat. And what you're doing is you're putting 2 sets of energy enhancers in the hat. So you're using, the energy enhancers is a 2-patch system. So you're using a tan and a white patch, and you put the tan on the left side of that hat, inside the hat, stick it in right on top of the hat, and then the white one on the other side. Some people say, well, is it supposed to go this way or that way? It doesn't matter. The heat of the body is going to activate it. And then you put another set of energy enhancers, a tan in the back, white in the front of the hat, and then on the crown of the hat, the glutathione and Eon patch. And I use that on my mom probably 4 or 5 hours a day. You can use it for longer, but I started her off gradually and she did very well. And the very first day that I put that hat on her, I'll never forget it. I put it on at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and at 8 p.m. that night, she turned and looked at both my husband and I and said, hey, she was seeing this like wheel spinning. She was seeing double, and she was very mixed up in her head. And that all cleared within 5 hours. She cleared right up. She had a little bit of weakness on one side, that went away. So we saw some really nice changes and improvements with her pretty quickly. I continued to use the patch on her for another 2 weeks, 4 or 5 hours a day. Dr. Tom, my neurology friend, said, you know, Ann, why don't you reverse the poles, because it's a negative and positive poles, and let's kind of shake things up in, you know, in the brain. So we reversed the poles for another couple of weeks, and that was it. Then mom has not needed those since, the hat, since that time. So
that's such a beautiful story. Oh my gosh. She must have been amazed, and you guys were amazed. Beautiful.
The interesting thing, Robin, is that she doesn't remember going through that, right? Because when you have that brain injury, there's no recall. So, but we've had discussions about it, and she's like, wow, really? You know, wasn't not aware that it happened. So now she's, you know, much more aware, and yeah, big change. We were excited to see that change in her.
I love it. I love it.
For sure.
May I ask a question about the hat?
Sure.
This is Dave from Independence, Missouri. Did you change the patches out every day in the hat, or did you just
Question, Dave. So remember, the patches will last a good, you know, 12 to 16 hours. The first 12 hours is when it's most, you know, efficacious. And there's still a little bit of you know, frequency left in that patch. It's not as strong as the first 12. So I used them for 3 days on her, and I would change them out every 3 days for her.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And Christine has a comment going back to snoring. My husband has snored most of our marriage, but now he is wearing X39 and it's changed both of our sleeping. He hardly ever snores.
Just X39.
X39. Yay. Yay. Another thing to add to the list. Okay. Pam is asking where and which and where do you place the patch for your eye improvement?
Generally, some people will use like an eye mask and they'll put it right on the mask itself at night when they go to bed. And other people will put it on, like with my mom, I use carnosine because she does have a degenerative eye condition. And I put them on each side of her temple. Carnosine on each side of her temple at night is what we typically will do.
And like you said, always X39.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. Kristen's asking, as long as we're in the eyes, for eye improvement, you can wear patches as indicated in the booklet that comes with the patches. They work systemically. Okay, great. I had eye results with the placement I just posted. Thank you. Okay, where can I find the health tracker? Oh, thank you for asking that. The health tracker is actually in your app. It's also in Live Younger Success. It's also in liveyoungerproducts.com. It's also in the welcome letter when you get started from our Live Younger community. So it's all over the place. Okay. Annabelle met someone who is having challenges with her kidneys. She wants to try the patches. What protocol would you recommend?
Well, again, I think you always want to start with X39. That's a really important, you know, patch to use. And I think the other patch, I love Eon. The combination of Eon and X39 are always great patches because they work so well together. Eon does so much in the body. It helps with inflammation. It helps with, you know, balancing that parasympathetic. I mean, when your organs are under stress, you know, things are not balanced. And so that Eon and X39 combination can really bring that balance back to the body. And the very last patch I might want to mention, and I would encourage you to go to myalovita.com. And I would encourage you to scroll down and find the clinical study on aloe vera. And I think that you're going to find that very, very interesting, because that particular patch they've done some testing and they've seen some great results with some specific organs. So I would go in there and take a peek. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So myalovita.com, and then scroll down till you can find the clinical study. It's below an image, and click on that and read that study.
Yeah. And, when I listened to David once when he was doing the tribute to Dr. Steve Haltewenger, he's addicted to that patch. It was actually the very first regenerative patch. And he says a lot of interesting things about it. Okay. Rowena said, which patches should a person use who has a burning sensation in her chest, usually after eating?
Oh, okay. Again, X39 is going to help with repair, but Eon, I think, would be very beneficial to put right where it's burning. I've had people complain of that burning, put the patch right there, and within seconds, they tell me it's gone. I've actually done it with my grandkids. One of my grandchildren was complaining about that when he was here. He had eaten something and he's like, it burns over here. And I put that patch on and it was gone instantly. So it works really well. Sometimes people need a combination of glutathione and Eon together. And sometimes that will be effective as well. But typically Eon works very well.
Great. Okay, Christina says, thank you. One of our BPs has crooked toes. They're bent over. She's wanting to know which patch to wear and maybe where to put it.
Well, I would definitely X39, right? Because X39 is what's going to repair everything. It's what resets all those genes. It's what does it all. So you always want to do, the X39. I don't know. I think it's just going to take time. It's something that when you have that level of damage, it's probably happened over a lot of years. And it's going to take some time for that to get better. But definitely, you can use the X39 anywhere on the body. So, if they wanted to use it on the feet, you could certainly do that. I hear stories all the time, anecdotal. The clinical studies were done in the back of the neck and below the belly button. And that's why when you're getting your leaflet, it tells you those 2 patch placements. But you can place that X39 anywhere in the body. It will get activated and it will go and do its work. There are a lot of people who have injuries, or maybe they had an accident or something happened, and they'll put that X39 right where the injury is, and they get great results using it right there. So that is kind of my go-to. If there's inflammation involved, I'd say add the Eon. Otherwise, definitely X39.
Beautiful. Someone by accident slammed my finger into a drawer and slammed it, and I could see the line of blood in the middle of my fingernail. And everyone says, you're going to lose your nail. And I went, and I always carry my patches, always carry your patches in a little first aid kit. So I put the X39 and the Eon right on my finger. And the next day, there was no swelling. There was no pain. There was no discoloration from my finger being slammed in a drawer. It's crazy, 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 crazy. Okay. So, someone on an iPhone says, can a person using the aloe vera patch and lotions also apply sunscreen when going outside?
Yeah, there's no reason why you shouldn't, but quite frankly, aloe vera is known to help protect your skin from the sun. So is glutathione, by the way. Glutathione stops that cell damage, and then the aloe vera, it's beautiful for protecting your body from sunlight. We know that David has talked about that the patch in particular can protect you from the ultraviolet lights from the sun. I have a friend here in Maine, and you're going to laugh because she was here and we had an event in Maine, and she was sharing her story. And she said, every summer I burn. Really bad. She said, I cannot be in the sun for 15, 20 minutes and I will have a burn. And she said, I tell you, this summer with wearing the patches, I actually tanned. She said, I've never tanned in my whole life. And she's standing in front of the audience and she says, I'm going to show you. And she lifts her shirt up to show her belly and put her arm by her belly so that people could see the difference, because you can't really tell her tan because she's so fair skinned. But against her belly, we really could see that she had gotten, you know, some sun. And she said, I never do. I burn. So it's amazing how this patch can be very protective.
It's so exciting because people that have sensitivity like that and burn easily are so thrilled that they're not burning, you know, even fair-skinned people. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, Sheila, she's having bunion surgery. What would you suggest before and after surgery?
Well, I think that I know that I had people who have patched before surgery with the ice wave just to prepare, you know, before they go in, and the Eon as well, and X39. Remember, X39 is going to help with the repair, right? You want the X39 for the repair. You want a quick repair. You want to reduce the inflammation with Eon. So you want to do that before and do it after. I had a young woman who did that when she had four wisdom teeth removed. And I don't know if you've ever had yours removed, Robin, but I did. And my face was like this afterwards. And
Chipmunk.
yeah. And this young woman, you know, her mother said she is so spleeny and complains all the time about a little tiny cut. Can you imagine what she's going to be like? Well, quite frankly, we patched her before and she had the procedure. We patched her after. No swelling whatsoever, none. And her mom said she never complained. Within 3 days, she was eating normally again. And her mom, she was blown away at that
amazing
response.
Wow. It's so exciting to heal that fast, and you know, it's consistent that we hear from medical professionals that someone who has been using the patches, that they recover so fast. Their doctors are always in shock. And it happened to me too. A total knee replacement in 3 weeks. I was off my meds, off my cane, and my walker.
That's
in
so great.
3 weeks with a total knee replacement. The first one wasn't so good, but I'm not going to go into that one. Okay. Dell is saying, I'm wondering what to do for a 69-year-old male with a rare blood disease. What patches do you recommend?
And you always do X39. Why? Why do you go to X39? The reason you start there is because you're going to reset the genes. You're going to raise that copper peptide. That peptide, again, go to that website. Look at what that copper peptide does. If you can get to that website, copperpeptidebreakthrough.com, you are going to be really impressed. And that is where I always want people to start. And then if you want to add other patches in a month or two, and you know, want to look at maybe other patches, you can do that. But initially for a month or two, just do the X39 and just see what happens. When my mom's blood work was she had all these abnormal tests. And we ended up, you know, patching her, and she went back a month later and they were all normal. So we were like, oh my God, how can this be? So you just don't know what's going to happen, you know, as you're using some of these patches and things are changing cellularly. It's about bringing the body back into its balanced state and back into, you know, having the energy you need to repair and get better. All of that is a part of why we use these patches. They allow for a great energy flow in the body. It brings the systems back to function properly. So it starts, you know, with a lot of the healing that goes within the body. So this is a really important patch to start with.
Beautiful. And it is so comprehensive. And then you get your X39 story. And I used X39 only for 90 days before trying anything else. And when you have more active stem cells going on, everything is going to work better too, even the other patches. So, okay.
That's a powerful story, Robin. It really is.
It is amazing. Okay. Andra says, I just received all of my patches. Yay! Today, I'm going to get my gallbladder out on Friday. I'm not sure if I should start the patches now or wait till after. Great question, Andra.
I might do it like the day before, put the patches on like the day before, and then definitely after. And you may need a couple of sets of ice wave sometimes I'll use 2 sets depending on the level of pain. I mean, start with 1 set. They're tan and the white patch. The pain patches have tan and white. Again, usually the tan is on the painful spot, and the white, you kind of move it around like around a clock and try to figure out where you're going to get best relief. And you're going to have inflammation, so Eon's going to be important as well. And again, I would want to put that in the area where you had the surgery, and you definitely need the X39 for quick repair, right? We've been talking about that now, that you definitely want to do that quick repair. And, you know, you're going to see that you're going to heal much faster, and the doctors are going to be quite amazed.
Love it. Love it. I hope it all goes really well, Andra. Okay, Lavelle, where are you placing the X39 and 49 that you've gotten these great results with your blood pressure?
The back of my neck and below my belly button. So I alternate the sites. Sometimes I'll put, like, sometimes I use the X39 behind my neck. Sometimes I put it below the belly button. Sometimes I put the 49 here, and I put the X. And so I'm always swapping them around. I kind of play with them, and I've even moved them to other places, like on my lung points. Use one on each side. So again, they get activated wherever you place them in the body, and you'll get the benefit.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Maureen says, Robin and Ann, I heard wearing Silent Night on the right temple that people didn't snore anymore. We're going to get the snoring thing figured out tonight. I love it. I love it. And Ravel, God bless you. She gave the link for the health tracker. So it's in the chat, everybody. Thank you, Ravel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Casey, I had a terrible attack of allergies last week. Swollen, crusty eyes. Ugh. Tried Eon, nothing. Tried Ice Wave, nothing. But then carnosine. After 10 minutes, my eyes opened, the crusting stopped, and no more tearing.
That's awesome. I love that carnosine patch. It's amazing. And in fact, I like using, for allergies, I like using glutathione and Eon and carnosine. That trio is beautiful when it comes to some of those symptoms with the X39.
Beautiful. And carnosine's actually made in the eyes. So eye-related things, carnosine is a great thing. It also works on the brain and the heart and torn tissues. And I mean, it's kind of like, doesn't get the attention it deserves, you know?
I think so. I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. And Ravel also put the myelavita.com website in there. So yeah, please, you know, what Anne suggested doing is checking out that website, checking out the study on Alavita, and seeing that it does so much more than just skin. So much more. Okay, Melissa, we're going to take just a few more. What I'm interested in is for a customer, does the scar tissue or skin graft cause a barrier? Which patch and take longer with the patch and take longer to activate? Does the scar tissue or skin graft cause a barrier with the patch? Oh, okay, there we go. And take longer to activate. So if you're putting the patch on a scar.
Sure. So sometimes it does block the energy flow, and I have seen Dr. Nicholas do this thing with the patches. When there's scar tissue, he'll actually take the X39 patch and move it over the scar back and forth. You know, I don't know, 20 times, whatever you want to do, just to move that energy through, and then that can actually help. You know, that movement of energy through the scar tissue, so that you can begin to heal and repair. But we do hear stories all the time. I've seen it. I've experienced it. That old scars that have been there and that are pretty thick tend to really get thin. You know, I have a friend of mine who had 4 C-sections, and she had a pretty significant scar. And that scar is really faded and it's very thin now. So it's amazing how beneficial, what it does for skin remodeling. It's just amazing.
It is. And think of what's going on the inside, because that scarring gets in the way of intercellular communication. And when there's less of it, everything works better. Well, guys, I just looked at the clock and it's time to complete. There's so many more, but if you have questions, please put them in earlier and we'll make sure we get as many as we can. And always wonderful to hear from everybody. Thank you, Anne, for being such a gracious, wise being, sharing with everyone so beautifully this
and
evening.
thank you, Robin, for hosting. You're a wonderful host.
Yeah, I love doing it. It's fun. I get to learn the most, and I want to thank each and every one of you for being with us this evening. If you're a guest here this evening, we invite you to get back to the person that invited you, and we invite you to get started. The patches come with a guarantee. There's a 30-day risk-free guarantee. If you're doing it just for yourself, we have a wonderful customer program. We have a few different options. And if you're the kind of person that likes to share, the company will reward you with a wonderful compensation program. And so it is time to complete for the evening, and I want to thank everyone for being here. It's been a great call, and we will see you next Tuesday. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey, see you later. Happy
Bye.
Halloween.
Good evening.
Great
Great
call.
job, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Everyone, happy
Bye.
Halloween.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love you,
Bye.
Robin. Thank you.